Okay, so every time you tap your card, swipe at a terminal, or just click Buy Now online, there's this invisible guardian standing watch over your financial data. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the global security standard that makes all of it work safely. It's called PCI-DSS.
I mean, seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? You're tossing your most sensitive information out into the wilds of the internet, just trusting that it's going to land in the right place, safe and sound. What's actually stopping someone from just snatching it right out of the air?
Well, the answer is a really clever set of rules that builds a kind of digital fortress around your card data. So for the next few minutes, let's explore the blueprint for this fortress, see how it's tested for weaknesses, and yeah, look at how those walls can sometimes come crumbling down.
And here's its official, kinda clunky name, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI-DSS for short. Now, here's the thing. This isn't some government law. It's a global framework, a standard that any business that handles card payments has to follow. We're talking everyone from your local coffee shop to the biggest online giants.
So who dreamed this all up? Well, it wasn't a government body. It was actually 5 of the biggest players in the payment card world. They knew they had to team up to create a unified front against fraud.
And here they are, the big 5. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and JCB. Yeah, these massive competitors actually came together, formed the PCI Security Standards Council, and now they manage this whole framework to protect all of us.
All right, so if you're going to build this fortress, where do you start? Well, PCI-DSS has 12 main requirements, which sounds like a lot, but thankfully they all boil down to 6 core goals. You can think of these as the master blueprint for security. You know, what's so smart about this blueprint is how it makes a super complex topic feel simple. It's not just about tech. You've got to build strong walls with a secure network, sure, and you have to protect the treasure, your data, with things like encryption. But look at the other goals. It's also about the human side of things. Actively hunt for weaknesses. Only give keys to trusted people. Watch the walls 24/7. And, crucially, make sure everyone has a clear rulebook to follow. It's the whole package.
Now, building the fortress is one thing, but how do you know if it's actually strong? You gotta test it, right? And this isn't just some gentle checkup. We're talking rigorous stress tests and full-on attack drills. The whole point here is to think like an attacker. It means launching an all-out assault on your own systems to find any little crack, any potential weakness, before the actual bad guys do. It's a huge effort covering everything from security testing to checking access controls.
One of the coolest parts of this is something called penetration testing. This is where a company literally hires a team of ethical hackers, ethical invaders, to try and break into their own systems. They probe the digital walls from the outside and the inside, looking for any secret passage they can exploit.
And then you've got access control testing. This is all about checking every digital key in every lock. You have to make absolutely sure that the right people have access to only the information they need to do their job and nothing more. A customer service agent, for example, should never be able to access the entire database of card numbers.
Now we get to the real treasure, your data. Encryption testing makes sure that data is scrambled into an unbreakable code. We're talking incredibly strong algorithms like AES 256. To put that in perspective, that's the gold standard used by governments to protect top-secret files. And this has to apply whether your data is just sitting on a server or flying across the internet.
Of course, every fortress needs a good surveillance system. That's where logging and monitoring come in. It's like installing security cameras that never, ever sleep. Every important action, every login, every file access, every single change has to be recorded in logs that can't be tampered with. So, how long do these recordings get kept? Well, PCI-DSS is super strict about this. All of those security logs have to be kept for at least 1 full year. And the most recent 3 months, they need to be ready for instant analysis. There's really no hiding from the history.
So with all these rules and all these tests, you'd think we'd be perfectly safe. But how do breaches still happen? Well, even the strongest fortress can crumble if the rules aren't actually followed. So let's look at a few of the most common ways these walls fall down.
This really shows the difference, doesn't it? A weak fortress makes some really basic mistakes, like sharing one admin password among multiple people, or just not updating critical software. But some of these failures are just shocking. PCI-DSS explicitly absolutely forbids storing the most sensitive data after a transaction, especially that 3-digit CVV code on the back of your card. And yet, some companies still do it. It's like leaving the keys to the entire kingdom just lying on the welcome mat. And that point about segmenting the network, building internal walls, that is so critical. Because if you don't properly separate the systems that handle card data from, say, your marketing department's computers, then your entire network suddenly has to follow all the strict PCI rules. As the source material puts it, the entire environment becomes the cardholder data environment. And trust me, for a company, that is an absolute nightmare. It makes security way more complex and way more expensive.
Okay, let's bring this all home. What are the big takeaways? And what does the future of payment security look like? How do you actually keep that fortress strong? Not just for an audit, but for the long haul. You know, the biggest shift here is philosophical. It's about seeing security not as a yearly checklist you have to get through, but as a continuous, ongoing process. That means adopting a zero-trust mindset, trusting nothing and no one by default, even inside your own network. It means building security in from day one, and, this is a big one, it means using tokenization. That's just a fancy way of saying you replace a customer's real card number with a useless one-time use token, so even if a hacker gets it, it's completely worthless to them. When you get right down to it, PCI-DSS isn't just some dry technical standard. It's really the fundamental layer of trust that allows our entire global digital economy to work. Every single secure online payment you make is standing on the shoulders of these tough, rigorous rules.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. As we move into a future of digital wallets and all kinds of new payment systems that don't always use raw card numbers, you have to wonder, should these core security principles, strong encryption, tight access control, constant monitoring, should they apply to all of them too? The future of secure payments might just depend on how we answer that.